This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the New Media Production Studio. The stories for tonight are again dominated, just absolutely dominated by Twitter and Elon Musk. People just cannot get over it. I want to welcome you to episode 1630 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, November 3rd. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all the brand new listeners of the show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking the podcast out. Of course, we want you to get over and visit geeknewscentral.com while you're there. Follow or subscribe to the show. That's really the most important thing you can do when you visit the website. Sign up for the newsletter as well. While you're over there, you'll find that link in the show notes. Of course, you can join our chat room at geeknews.chat. That's a Mastodon chat server. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And of course, our Discord channel, which is available within the links on the show notes. If you have comments for me today, geeknews@gmail.com is the email address. And of course, you can reach me on Twitter at Geek News or follow me straight up on Facebook. Partner shows, they're all linked to geeknewscentral.com. That includes the New Media Show, includes the Gadget Professor with Mr. Don Bain. It includes GNC Week in Review with Scott and Kirk. Definitely check all those shows out initially. Of course, this show is sponsored by the longest-running continuous sponsor of a podcast, and that's from our good friends at GoDaddy. GoDaddy's been a sponsor here since 2005, and we allow you to save lots of money on GoDaddy products and services. Whether it be 30% off on any new product purchase, whether it be a $4.99.com for new or transfer domains for new customers only, or $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, or again, $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. Again, you get $1.99 managed economy hosting for a year for $1.99. $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for a year. Again, for $2.99, both include a free domain, a free trial to GoDaddy website builder, your choice of personal business or business plus plans. And again, you save about 94% when you pick up a GoDaddy hosting account with me, an average of $3.50 on GoDaddy domain names. Go get them, go grab them, get over there, sign up for an account. We want you to support our sponsor. Keep the lights on, allow me to pay all the bills, insurance, electricity, gas, filters for the heater. It just goes on and on and on. And probably soon, some sort of fees for snowplows. So I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to thank GoDaddy for, again, sponsoring the show. If everything was working correctly, we've been experimenting with a couple of things. We might be lit at this point. I don't know. We'll see if we are. I sent the bat signal out over Sovereign Feeds and set all the. We've been playing with it, and people have been watching it. And there's some things coming that'll make it much easier for the average podcaster to go live and announce it live on apps. And really, it's again a part of this now movement into podcasting 2.0. And I've talked about it a little bit here on the show in the past, and it's really an initiative to help you, help me as the creator, help out the app developers have a sustainable business model. It really is going to be a critical part of this new ecosystem that is going to allow creators to have more options and being able to fund and finance their shows and being able to have a value for value model. This show, I want to really embrace this value for value. If you get value for what I produce in this podcast, you can reward me on a micro basis by sending me, as an example, 10,000 Satoshis or 50,000 Satoshis or 100,000 Satoshis, whatever you feel it's worth, with the same way of doing a PayPal contribution to the show one time if you feel there has been value given to you during a podcast. Is it worth $1? Probably not worth the cent of PayPal that way. $10 on PayPal, that's okay. I only have to pay 50 cents and a few percentage points to process it. But for those micro donations, we definitely want you to use one of the new podcastapps.com. We want you to use one of those apps so that you can participate in this brand new ecosystem that is being created and being expanded. I think it's something where all of you will get value out of it. If you're listening to podcasts, you can be on this beginning wave of contributions. Now, this particular show, we don't have any new micro donations that have come in. But again, if we go over to newpodcastapps.com and let me load the website, you're going to find there's a whole ecosystem of apps that you've never seen before. And Podverse, Podfriend, CarrierCaster, Fountain, Cast-O-Matic. These are names you're probably not familiar with in the podcasting space. So newpodcastapps.com is the place to check this out. Get on board. You're all part of this ride. You've been here for years with me with this podcasting space in the geek zone. So let's geek out a little bit, and I want to bring you along. I want you to be on the leading edge of this, all right? Again, value for value. Definitely appreciate GoDaddy for their ongoing support of the show. This, what I do right here, where I do it, would not be possible without them. If GoDaddy stopped sponsoring this show today, it would be very quickly, I would be regulated to the loft out on the farm, and we would be podcasting out there because I simply couldn't afford to be able to do what I do here. So it's really pretty simple. So we want you to get involved in this new ecosystem. At the same time, my company is hiring. We're hiring an individual for a social media position. And I have a job announcement. I'll put the link in the show notes tonight. But we're hiring an individual for remote work. And it's got to be a few states. It's got to be Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Arizona, and Colorado. And why those states is because that's where we already have payroll set up. We'd prefer to hire someone there than open up payroll in another state. We will open payroll if we have to, but that is not necessarily what the goal is. We'll see if we can find a good candidate in one of those 5 states. And believe me, the resumes I've been getting in so far, it's kind of crazy. There are not a lot of people that have social media experience and having podcasts and video and audio content creation. Everyone is either like a marketing person, they've never done on-camera time, they've never done podcasts, or they've done podcasts and they don't do social media. We want this mix. So maybe I'm hunting for a unicorn. I don't know. But we're going to work hard at finding someone to fill that position. And then it's a full-time gig, 40 hours a week, benefits, the whole 9 yards. So definitely check out the link in the show notes. Now, I got the demo room all fired up. So maybe it's a little bright on this side. Lights are blasting over there. And I was doing some testing today, getting ready to do a product review, and going to start using that room more. And haven't used it very much, but it's something where I shook off the cobwebs a couple of weeks ago, got everything hooked up, make sure it worked, and we're ready to. Matter of fact, those of you that are watching the show right now, let me see if I can show you what the demo room looks like. Let me get over here. I got to click on this one. Let me click on this. So there's the demo room all fired up. And actually, we've got the product cam up as well. So, and there's the demo room all ready to rock and roll. So, pretty exciting. Going to be able to doing some shoots over there and taking care of some stuff. So, let me double check some. Make sure I have no new error. Okay, I thought I had an error showing up. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the content. I've got a Red Bull in hand. It's been a busy week. Whew, busy, busy, busy. I've been stuck to my desk way, 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 way too much. Now, if any of you are watching Lit or listening Lit, we're live at live.geeknewscentral.com. And for those of you on Facebook, thanks for saying hi. Mom is checking in on Facebook as well. Hi, Mom. Thanks for watching. Toby's checked in as well. So don't be shy to check in, whether you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, or wherever you may be watching. Okay, so are you guys sick of the Elon Musk news? I'm going to hit a couple of things. And then we're going to get into some other stuff. And then we're going to come back for some more. But I found this absolutely hilarious last night. There was an absolute troll. I don't know if is she a senator or is she from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I believe she's a rep out in New Jersey. She made a tweet. She said, laughing LMAO at a billionaire earnestly trying to sell people on the idea that free speech is actually an $8 per month subscription plan. Elon replied, your feedback is appreciated. Now pay $8. And I was just like, oh, boom. You know, it was like this mic drop. And, here's the way I look at it. Twitter Blue is $5. Having Twitter Blue go to 8 and being able to keep my blue check mark, this is the way I'm kind of looking at this Twitter and paying $8. For years and years and years and years, I have used Twitter free of charge. I've gotten huge value, built a big audience, got lots of recognition, lots of interaction from all of you, from company representatives, you name it. It's been pretty far and wide. So $96. Now the $20 a month had me a little concerned, but even just at $8, it's going to be $96 a year. I get my value. Is it the blue check mark that I value? Not necessarily, but I value the platform for this audience and what I do for my business. To pay the $96, it'll be a write-off. I'll be able to write the expense off as a business expense. And I think it's worth it because any business has to have a business model that goes beyond advertising. If I could get no advertising on Twitter, I might be willing to pay more for no advertising. Same thing on Facebook. Facebook is just inundates you with what would you pay, if anything, not to see ads on Facebook? Would you pay to not, and would you pay to see the stream of people that you have followed and not have this organic thing happen? There's something to this. Not everyone will. Not everyone has to. It's your choice. The platform will remain free. So I wonder about this. And, but time will tell. Time will tell what happens with this. But anyway, people have lost their mind over this $8 charge. And half of Twitter's users say they won't pay to use the site. I don't believe that. But half of U.S. frequent Twitter users said they won't use the social media platform if it required a monthly subscription. Now, they've already said it's going to be free. Only it is $8 to keep your blue check mark. The Harris Poll, a global market research and consulting firm, conducted a survey from October 28th to October 20th. What? From October, they got that type wrong. This is what it says on this report. October 28th to October 20th. It must be October 20 to October 28th. After Musk took over the company among a nationally representative sample of 2,063 adults. Blah, 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 blah. So, I don't know. It is a thing. So anyway, we will talk more about Twitter later in the show, and I'll go through the boom things that are going on. But Netflix ad-supported tiers launched today at $6.99. But as we already know, there are compromises. You only get 720p. You can't download to listen later. You're going to get at least 5 minutes of ads hourly. Sometimes you'll get an ad in between, in the middle of the content. Now, having been in internet hell for a long time out at the compound, I was streaming 720p for 2.5 years, and really was no big deal. It wouldn't do 1080. The bandwidth wouldn't support it. So I don't think that's that big of a downturn, unless you're really like, you're going to pay the higher price anyway if you're worried about it. But really wasn't that big of a sacrifice. So anyway, that is available now if you're trying to cut some money and save some money. $6.99. This next article to me is a and considering some of the things I used to do, this makes me really go, And I'm going to read you the title of this. Someone just asked me too. Martin says, the Socialist AOC, you don't need the Twitter Blue check mark. What kind of features are included in the Premium Blue? I think really the only thing is really included is you get some news feed, and you get the ability to allow you to stop sending a tweet within 30 seconds or something like that. It's on their website, so you can go look at it, Martin. So that was a comment that came in on Facebook. So Martin, thanks for that. Martin says, do you drink tea? I do not drink tea. I drink iced tea. And on the show, I drink Red Bull, which is not sponsored. But going back to this article, this Wi-Fi, okay, listen to this. Wi-Fi security flaw lets a drone track devices through walls. Wi-Fi's friendliness to other devices might pose a significant threat in the wrong circumstances. University of Waterloo researchers discovered a security flaw in the networking standard that lets attackers track devices through walls. The technique identifies the location of a device within 3.3 feet just by exploiting Wi-Fi devices' automatically contact response. And meaning the response times. You can identify all the connected hardware in a room and even track people's movements if they have a phone or watch. Scientists test the exploit by modifying an off-the-shelf drone to create a flying scanning device called the Y-Peep. The robotic aircraft sends several messages to each device as it flies around, establishing positions of the devices in the room. A thief using the drone could find vulnerabilities in a home or office by checking for the absence of security cameras and other signs the room is monitored or occupied. It could also be used to follow a security guard, or even to help rival hotels spy on each other by gauging the number of rooms in use. Or they didn't think far enough on this one. Or track a terrorist in a specific room and drop a bomb on his head. Interesting. Makes you go, just a little bit. So it's just used triangulation and ping, 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 pong, ping, pong, checking the response time. Now, a drone's going to be kind of noisy flying around out somebody's home, but depends on how far away that drone has to be. So it is an interesting moment for sure. All right, moving on here. Sling. Does anybody use Sling? Sling is increasing its subscription plans by $5. You pay slightly more whether you're a new or existing customer. Sling TV is raising the price. The live TV streaming service has bumped up the cost. Sling Blue to $40. Sling Orange and Blue bundle will be $55. Current prices are $35. I basically have my YouTube TV subscription currently on hold because the price just got too high, and I was trying to be able to afford a few more groceries. Little news from The Verge. 500 drones will form a giant Candy Crush above New York City tonight. Of course, New York doesn't allow drones. They have a very, very strict drone policy within the city. So they're going to be launching these from Battery Park in New Jersey. They got a special license to do this. So Candy Crush is 10 years old. They're going to do some celebratory lights in the sky type of activity. Mozilla is announcing a $35 million fund for investing in responsible tech. Responsible tech. I think Mozilla should invest in Podcasting 2.0. How about you, Martin? I think that would, a few million here or there spread across Podcasting 2.0 would be great. So the fund called the Mozilla Ventures aims to uplift startups that have a bit of a humanitarian edge. Well, what is a humanitarian edge? We're making it easier for content creators to do things. Mozilla board member Mohammed Nanabe, who was appointed this week as the fund's managing partner, will help identify businesses and ideas that suit this requirement. Eligible ventures will need to demonstrate in corporate transparency, inclusion, accessibility, human dignity, and any of the other 5 values from the Mozilla Manifesto. So some money to go out there and grab for those of you taking a grab. So here's something interesting. AstraZeneca, yes, the drug company, and AstraZeneca password lapse has exposed patient data. So once again, lack security, allowed user credentials to remain online for more than a year. They expose access to sensitive patient data, HIPAA data. Developer left the credentials for an AstraZeneca internal server on code sharing site GitHub in 2021. The credentials allowed access to a test Salesforce cloud environment, often used by businesses to manage their customers, but the test environment contained some patient data. Some of the data released to AstraZeneca ME applications, which offers discounts to patients who need meds. So people that are even more inclined to have issues if their privacy is breached. So AstraZeneca said the protection of personal data is extremely important to us, and we strive for the highest standards in compliance with all applicable rules and laws. We stop access to this data immediately after we've been informed. We're investigating the root cause, and hopefully they reach out and contact all those people that data was breached. So again, another hack, another day. Elon Musk's first Hyperloop tunnel, this is not involved with Twitter, is gone. The test tunnel that hosted student competitions 2018-2019 has been removed and replaced with parking spots for SpaceX employees. So the Hyperloop test bed, which ran about a mile, is gone. Now, if you live in New York City, the NYPD has joined Amazon Ring Neighbors Surveillance Network. This is the country's largest police force. Will tap into one of the most extensive private camera networks. And remember, we've been talking about this for a while. So Neighbors is a next-door-like extension of Ring security camera businesses, allowing residents of a neighborhood to discuss crime and safety as well as post footage from the cameras. While many law enforcement departments have joined Neighbors in recent years, this marks its adoption by America's largest police force. Separate police could separately request Ring footage for criminal investigations without the app, but it's part of an increasingly tight integration between Amazon and the police, one that's raised both concerns about privacy and questions about its crimes it's solving. If someone wants my coverage that I have on my cameras in or out of my building, they're going to have, especially in my building, if they want coverage for in my building, they're going to have to come with a warrant, number one. If they want the coverage from outside the building, all they're going to have to do is come and ask. I have nothing to hide, but I'm not giving anybody any access to my video content from inside my security cameras. I don't have Ring devices. I do not. And we know that 200 police departments have had Ring partnerships in 2019 alone. And it jumped to 2,000 in 2021. And Amazon has tightened its rules for police using neighbors over the years, and it no longer allows some practices it previously enabled, like privately requesting footage from individual users. It's also attempted to mitigate the app's reputation for fear-mongering and encourage people to post neighborly moments. So anyway, what do you feel about this? Love to hear your commentary. Do you feel it's okay for them just to get access to your Ring footage? Crime group has hijacked hundreds of U.S. news websites to push malware. They're not saying who. Threat actors tracked Proofpoint TA569, compromised the media organization, spread Sock Ghoulish, a custom malware active since at least 2018. And apparently, 250 U.S. national newspaper sites and regional websites are affected, so it shouldn't be too hard to figure that up. Was that Gannett? Who has 250 different news sites? Just guessing, by the way. So, news organizations serving Boston, Chicago, Cincinnati, Miami, New York, Palm Beach, and Washington, D.C. were part of the list that were affected. Didn't say exactly who it is, but apparently you go to this news site and it drops malware. So, kind of an interesting move. One thing switching gears here, obviously, one thing I have to admit is recently I've been in weekly meetings with Apple representatives for something that we're working on called delegated delivery in the podcasting space. It allows someone that's doing a premium show to publish directly through our platform into Apple's ecosystem. And before I went to Riyadh, I'd asked the team there if there, some questions about, what they were seeing in the Middle East. And they're very, very tight-lipped. They won't say anything. The whole, you're to talk about the topic that you're doing business with, and that's it. That's all you're talking about. There is no other conversations going outside of that. And that's a Apple culture piece. And oftentimes when I'll talk to Apple representatives, I am very, very careful to make sure that anything they share with me, I keep it very, very tight in confidence if it's something that's not been publicly announced. Because if you talk about something you're not supposed to, they will cut you off and you will not have any more access. So it should not come as a surprise that Tim Cook has been really said he's kind of boring. That's what everybody thinks. Tim Cook's boring. But one thing is for sure, his and the Apple strategy is kicking people's butts. They are rocking it. Apple's market cap stood at $2.307 trillion. And this year, their stock is only down 23% compared to other companies' stock that is down huge numbers, 30 and 40% for some other companies. So this is it's just the Apple way. That's how they've been. They just keep things close to the vest. And Amazon is now, Apple's now worth more than Amazon, Meta, and Alphabet combined. Think about that. They are worth more than Amazon, Meta, and Alphabet. That's just an incredible number. So just goes to showing they're rocking it. They really, really are. Vonage, they're going to pay $100 million to settle junk fee allegations. The internet-based telecom provider Vonage agreed to pay $100 million to the FTC to settle charges that it created an artificially burdensome process to cancel the service, include hidden termination fees. In his complaint, the FTC alleged Vonage and Ericsson subsidiary made it easy for consumers to sign up, but far more difficult to cancel. Customers could sign up for the service in a variety of ways, including online, over the phone, but Vonage forced customers to speak with a live retention agent in order to cancel service. At Blueberry, my podcast hosting company, go to billing, cancel service, 2 clicks, and you're out. We make it very, very simple for people to cancel their service. I don't ever want to hear a customer say, I can't. You made me jump through 25 screens to cancel. No, not the case. If you don't want to give me any more money, I'm fine with that. And make it easy for you to get out. Amazon has announced a phased rollout of Matter to its Alexa smart home platform. Matter over Wi-Fi arrives on 17 Amazon Echo devices this month, but initially only for Android phones with smart plugs, bulbs, and switches. So it's interesting. The company, which is a founding member of the new smart home interoperability standard, also announced that Matter devices will need to go through Amazon Works with an Alexa program to get the WWA badge on product pages. So, this is a big effort. They're trying this connected home deal. Matter launch event in Amsterdam this week, and says it will expand the rollout to iOS and Thread early next year. So again, it's all about device interconnectivity. The FCC has tapped 13 providers to manage a 6 gigahertz band access for a new Wi-Fi standard. So they conditionally approved 13 proposed automated frequency coordination systems. The aim is to prevent the new Wi-Fi kit from interfering with existing users in the stated space. The 13 organizations granted conditional approval include Broadcom, Google, ComSearch, Sony Group, Cairo, Keybridge Wireless, Nokia Innovations, Federated Wireless, Wireless Broadband Alliance, Wi-Fi Alliance, Qualcomm Plume Design, and Red Technologies. All of this follows from the FCC's decision in 2020 to open up the 1.2 gigahertz spectrum covering 6 gigahertz band from 5.925 to 7.125 gigahertz for unlicensed use, chiefly driven by demands to open up more bandwidth. Doing so would raise the amount of spectrum available by nearly a factor of 5, and this will help improve rural connectivity. We'll see. There's a lot of other stuff that is interlinked in amongst that. So that's why they're being very, very tight on this and allowing this frequency coordination to happen. Astronauts will print a 3D. I don't understand why they're doing this. Astronauts will 3D print part of a human knee, Knee, in space. Bioprinting in orbit could help injured soldiers on Earth. Bioprinted body parts could provide vital. In a very little sense, NASA, Redwire, and the Uniformed Service University of the Health Science Center are sending a new 3D printer to the National Space Station to print a human knee, meniscus in orbit to study results on Earth. Ideally, this will lead to treatments for meniscal injuries that U.S. soldiers all too frequently face. Redwire hopes to 3D print whole organs in space, although it characterizes this as a long-term goal. Why? Why do you have to be in space to do this? They don't explain why we have to be in space to print this. Why can't you print them on Earth? I don't understand. Someone please send me an email. Link me to why they're going to have to do this in space. I've got a suitcase that is gotten pretty beat up. It's looking pretty rough. I'm just waiting for it to roll off the luggage rack at some point and have a hole in it or missing a wheel. I've been in with this particular suitcase now about 2 years, and it maybe 2.5 years, and it's showing its travel scars. And they make these beautiful brand new ones that are actually aluminum, but boy, they're expensive. They're like $300 a piece. And of course, I pick them up, and you lose 10 pounds of your checked luggage weight. So I'm really not willing to do that. So I'll probably buy another $90 beater, and it'll go 2.5, 3 years before it gets destroyed, and then, rinse, wash, repeat. Because I'm not willing to give up that extra weight when I travel. Well, T-Mobile has come out with a fuchsia pink suitcase it's introducing, $325, that doubles as a table. They seem to think you're going to roll this thing around, take it on the airplane, and then sit in the airport and do the little fold-out table and use it as a desk. Okay. I don't think so. When I'm traveling, I pull the laptop out, sit it on my lap, do about an hour's worth of work, and get on the airplane and go to sleep. I don't use my luggage as a desk. I wouldn't even use it in the hotel room. Doesn't make sense. How about you? You want to pay $325 for this fuchsia roll-on bag that doubles as a desk? I say not. You know, one thing is for sure. Sex sells. Tumblr, remember them? Tumblr said nudes are back on the menu within reason. Interesting. Tumblr's decision to ban adult content from its website was a blow to the company's, leading to the departure of around a third of its users in 2018. So just recently, they made the decision to allow more adult content to come back. He stressed in a blog post that anything harmful to minors is abhorrent and has no place in our community. This week's reversal maintains that stance, as well as making clear that Tumblr still doesn't allow hate speech, violent threats, or anything illegal, but you're going to allow adult content back as long as it doesn't focus on the genitalia. How do you have nude content that doesn't, I guess it's like you don't hold it down or up or behind directly? It's a little weird. With the interaction labels, Tumblr says time to bring back the nudes, though visual depictions of sexually explicit acts remain off limits. Okay. Try moderating that one. Google plans giant AI language model supporting world's 1,000 most spoken languages. They've announced this ambitious project to develop a single AI language model that supports 1,000 most spoken language. As a first step towards the goal, the company is unveiling an AI model trained on over 400 languages, which it describes as the largest language cover seen in a speech model today. Language and AI have arguably always been at the heart of Google's products, but recent advances in machine learning, particularly the development of powerful multifunctional large language models, or LLMs, have placed a new emphasis on the domains. Google's already begun integrating these language models into products like Google Search. I just want to go to a foreign website and be able to read it correctly. Can you do that? Give me a good translation. You still can't get a good translation. I've been looking at a lot of Arabic podcast stuff, and I'm trying to get the translation. It never gets it right. So get the translation right. Forget about building a model. Amazon is freeze hiring at its corporate offices. And we know that Amazon had already frozen retail hiring last week. They're not the only ones. Apple has stopped hiring, has a hiring freeze as well. Dropbox today suffers a data breach after a phishing attack. Some GitHub repositories, 130 GitHub repositories, were also stolen via data breach. Naughty, naughty, naughty. I don't understand how those two are interconnected, but the breach occurred as a result of a successful phishing attack. In a Dropbox tech post, the company security team stated that these stolen repositories include some credentials, primarily API keys, lovely, used by Dropbox developers. The team also know that code and data around it also include a few thousand names and email addresses belonging to Dropbox employees, current and past customers, sales leads, and vendors. They've disabled it and is now inert. NASA's tiny Capstone moon probe has overcome a glitch again, set sight on the lunar orbit. So Capstone, which is about the size of a microwave oven, entered a protective safe mode. I experienced an issue during an engine burn on September 8th that caused the probe to start tumbling. And mission team members eventually identified the likely cause. They worked hard to troubleshoot, able to get Capstone stopped spinning in early October. And now the 55-pound CubeSat appears fully up and running again. Capstone performed a trajectory correction engine burn as planned today, keeping on target for arrival in orbit around the moon on November 13th. Thursday's engine burn lasted 220 seconds. So I guess it wasn't another one. It was basically the recovery from the initial issue that we talked about here on the show some time ago. Some cool pictures coming out of Hubble. A Milky Way star photobombs picturesque spiral galaxy and stunning photo from Hubble. It is pretty cool. I got a runny nose tonight. I apologize here. Galaxy NGC 5495 lies 300 million light years from Earth, far behind the jewel-like celestial body to the top left of the galaxy center and another to the right. They are stars within the Milky Way, Earth's home galaxy. That, like NG 5495, is a spiral galaxy. So anyway, pretty cool picture. Just an optical illusion. They're not in the same area of space. It should be kind of obvious looking at it. All right, let's get into the whole gross amount of data about Twitter. Musk is said to slash, as early as tomorrow, 50% of jobs. That's a rumor. I doubt it. There's also a good article that we'll link up in the show notes tonight on how to delete your Twitter account. I don't recommend that you do so. Don't say you're going to move off to Canada and then come back if you do, though, right? Okay? Apple what I meant was a lot of people said, I'm moving to Canada or I'm leaving the country if something happens. Well, don't say you're leaving Twitter unless you're going to leave Twitter, okay? A Twitter software engineer who created cartoons poking fun at the company says he has been fired because he's a troublemaker. One of the cartoons he made was any Twitter employee who speaks out against our tolerant policies of absolute free speech shall be immediately fired. Well, I'm going to tell you. If an employee of mine made fun of my company, they might be short-lived to be employed as well. Can you imagine someone that works for you mocking the business that you're in? Did he not think this was not going to happen? Emmanuel Cornett said he believes the new manager didn't want to deal with a troublemaker. Absolutely. Why would you go to work for somebody and be a troublemaker? Twitter HR last year asked him to take down cartoons he tweeted and published internally. A cartoon drawing Twitter employee believes he was fired. Yes, of course, didn't want a troublemaker. And Manuel Cornett, also known as Manu, joined Twitter last year as a software engineer after leaving Google, where he spent a decade poking fun at the company with his satirical cartoons. He got away with that at Google as well? Do you think anyone will want to hire him? I don't get it. Turkey's president says he wants to discuss Twitter's $8 blue tick fee with Elon Musk to see if he can avoid paying it. I think you can afford it, Mr. President from Turkey. Why don't you want to pay the $8? Expense it. Your government can afford it. Twitter tells worried employees their vested shares will be paid in the coming days. However, according to internal communications viewed by CNBC, managers of Twitter employees will be paid for the newly vested shares starting November 4th. And since Elon closed the purchase, employees worried they would be fired or laid off before their stock options. Well, that's not going to happen. How much is he going to have to pay? I don't know. About $459 million worth of stock was vested yesterday. So, but you may get your stock, but guess what? You're probably going to be axed because he's going to cut staff. Also, Elon said banned Twitter users won't return for at least another few weeks. So you got to give it some time. And of course, the advertisers are losing their minds. Elon Musk told Twitter advertisers he wants to do different tiers of content moderation, similar to movie age ratings. You can already find X-rated Twitter tweets lots of adult actresses have adult content on Twitter. Brands have cited concerns that Musk will bring back the President Trump onto Twitter. He's coming back. So why are people worried? So what? The Tesla CEO told some of Twitter's top advertisers that he would like to have a rating system that could be self-selected, then modified by user feedback. You know, all these companies are so worried about brand safety. I keep hearing this in the podcasting space. Brand safety, brand safety, brand safety. Got to have brand safety. Can't be associated with any content that's going to hurt our brand safety. Aren't we big kids? It blows me away. It really, really does. I think that's all the Twitter stuff. There might be one or two more. SpaceX launched a Hotbird 13G telecom satellite. Did you guys see the heavy lift the other day for the U.S. Space Force, where they had 3 stages, and they actually only landed 2 and expended 1? That was impressive. That went off without a hitch. Gmail is going to add a new package tracking feature ahead of holiday shopping season. Why do we need this? Allow users to soon be able to track their upcoming package deliveries directly from their inbox. The feature works by looking for emails that include tracking numbers, then using that information to determine the order's expected delivery date and flagging this for you right in your inbox. That means when you're scanning through your email list, you won't have to click on your order confirmation emails to see when your package is due. Okay, more spying on our email. All right. British, is it BT or is this, British Telecom? BT Group ups cost-cutting plan amid rising inflation, soaring energy costs. The national telecom giant admits strike actions impacting customer broadband connections. So the CEO says the company remains on the forefront and looking to cut cost. And they're trying to basically slash 2.5 to 3 billion by the end of the year. So that's probably laying off about 13,000 employees. And energy's driven prices up and everything else. So if you are interested in this information on British Telecom, link will be in the show notes. Of course, this should not come as a surprise. Lenovo revenues dropped due to failing demand for PCs, but overall profits are up thanks to cost cutting and success in other divisions. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Lyft is going to lay off about 700 employees in the second round of job cuts. The ride-hailing company, which is cutting 13% of staff, maintain its earnings outlook. So they're having to cut people because they need to get profitable. The free money is gone. TikTok has told European users its staff in China will get access to their data. Listen to that. TikTok is spelling out to its European users that their data can be accessed by employees outside the continent, including China, amid political and regulatory concerns about Chinese access to user information on the platform. The other countries where European user data could be accessed by TikTok staff include Brazil, Canada, Israel, as well as the United States and Singapore, where European user data is stored currently. TikTok's head of privacy in Europe said based on a demonstrated need to do their job, subject to a series of robust security controls and approval protocols, by the message recognized under the GDPR, we will allow certain employees within our corporate group located in Brazil, Canada, China, Israel, Japan, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, South Korea, and the United States remote access to TikTok's European user data. In a letter to Republican senator disclosed in July, TikTok's chief executive Zhou Zhichu said a narrow set of non-sensitive U.S. data could be viewed by foreign employees if approved by a U.S.-based TikTok security team. He added none of the data was shared with the Chinese government. Ha, 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 ha. Use WhatsApp? WhatsApp officially launches its new discussion group feature called Communities, allowing up to 1,024 users. Oh, programmers are so funny, aren't they? All right. Over on technologyreview.com, Twitter may have lost more than 1 million users since Elon Musk took over. Estimates from Bot Sentinel suggest that more than 875,000 users deactivated their accounts between October 27th and November 1st, where 500,000 more were suspended. At the same time, decentralized social network Mastodon has grown by 655,000 users in the wake of Elon Musk's Twitter takeover. GeekNews.chat is a Mastodon chat server. We are part of the metaverse, part of the Mastodon ecosystem. So get over there and add yourself to GeekNews.chat. You can sign up, have an account over there, follow the local discussion, subscribe to others on other instances. So just let you know, it's out there and you can get access to it. All right, I'm a little behind on regular email, so I don't know if I've had any additional comments come into the show. Again, I apologize. It sometimes just happens. My geeknews@gmail address is the last one I get to check. So again, a Fediverse. Martin, correct me. Fediverse, not Metaverse. Fediverse for Mastodon. So that's going to wrap it up, folks. We're going to bring it to an end here. But if you have comments about the show, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, @geeknews on Twitter. If you've gotten any value for this show, you can become an insider at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Become a $2, $5, $10, $15, $20, or $25 a month contributor to the show, or do a one-time donation. $2 donations is 6.7 cents a day. A $20 a month donation is 63 cents. So feel free to jump in there and become a insider. Or if you found value, download the Fountain app or get over to newpodcastapps.com. As we talked about at the beginning of the show, Podverse, there's a lot of great apps over there for you to check out, be able to get engaged, be able to boost the show, and it's all in building out what we're calling Podcast 2.0 and the fun that we're to have going forward. Lots of stuff going on with my company about this. Matter of fact, we're getting a whole bunch of designs done for PowerPress, for my interface. It's going to be fully integrated quite extensively, and we're just going to continue to push this as hard as we can. And those of you that listen to the show, you're on the forefront. You're on the leading edge of all this as a listener to get involved. Again, drop me an email, geeknews@gmail.com. If you have any comments or want more details, let me know. It's been my pleasure to bring you the podcast tonight. I hope that you've enjoyed the show. We're going to get out of here in just a momentarily, if I can click the right button. But I definitely want to thank you all for being here. Everyone take care. We'll see you next time. Not that one. That one didn't do it. Let's fly that back out. Let's try this. Yeah, I've got this thing all screwed up right now. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, that didn't work either. All right. Ciao.